Hey, how's everybody doing this morning? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for the support recently, of course. But as you guys see by the title, I'm going to be talking about the negative part of the Vikings, and this is a problem, I think. I mean, it's been a problem for a couple years, and it's just kind of on the mental aspect on the Vikings, kind of their mental toughness and kind of their feel for momentum. I'm going to be getting into it more after the intro. But anyways, from the shout out from yesterday's video, we got Leort 2006, and he had his predictions with the NFC North. That was yesterday's video. He has, if Rodgers is there, he's got Packers winning at 13-4, Vikings 10-7, Bears 9-8, Lions 5-12. And then without Rodgers, he does have the Vikings taking it. And then the Bears 10-7, Packers 6-11, Lions 6-11 too, with the Vikings finish off 12-5. Comment should be down here somewhere. Anyways, I kind of agree with that. I think there's a I agree with it in a certain sense that the Vikings will win if Rodgers is not there. I think they will win either way. But he clearly showed he emphasizes that Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback, and also that I was kind of looking for, and he really did a good job. Anyways, I want you guys to leave it down below. What do you guys think one thing that could derail the Minnesota Vikings seasons, besides injuries, of course, besides opt-outs, staying healthy, all that? What is one thing that could derail the Vikings season? Let me know down below. I'm going to give you guys mine right now. Let's talk about it right now. Okay, so last year I made a couple videos on this channel, especially later on in the year when I was kind of getting into the play calling of Kubiak, and was getting really critical of him, and it kept going back to the feeling of momentum. And what I mean by that is certain teams in the NFL, certain coaches in the NFL, they feel momentum better than others. It's typical after a team would turn the ball over, you take a shot. The Vikings seemed to never grasp that concept last year. They would get a big-time turnover. I remember in the Saints and Bears games, they've had these big-time turnovers late in the year. And yes, it is fourth quarter, and there's times they need to push the ball down the field, and they would just hand it off to Dalvin with their offensive line the way it was struggling, going into like a Bears front seven. That's obviously fantastic. And they'll get 1 yard, and that's 2nd and 9. And then the momentum's killed. Instead, even if you take a shot and it's incomplete, you still show the other team that you're willing to take a shot, and you can take a shot on them. It displays a sort of confidence, and that's my problem with the Vikings in past, is the feeling of momentum. We've seen this really riddle Zimmer's history, and I'm hoping they can kind of snap out of it right now, because it's definitely a concern that they don't feel the game. They don't feel momentum, I think, as other teams do. You look at the NFC divisional round against the Saints. The Vikings are up 17-0. They pretty much have their foot on their neck, and there's just no way for them to close out that game. They weren't feeling the game. You go watch that second half back. The Saints scored 1 touchdown, make it 17-7. Everything died. Like, the fans, they were still involved, but you could sense almost panic with the Vikings. There's no swagger to them when they have the foot on the neck type of situation. And that's kind of what I'm getting into next is, yes, feeling momentum play calling wise, that's 100% what I think a problem is with this team. But also, the Vikings have this problem where they don't know how to put teams away necessarily, and good teams. They know how to put bad teams away better than anybody recently, especially Kirk Cousins. That's his MO. That's all he knows. But when it's a good team and they get up early, such as Tampa Bay, they were on them constantly last year. They had chances to score over and over and over again. It's just they don't know how to put the boot to the throat. They don't know how to finish it. And I don't know if that's it's more on the offense is what I'm getting at right now. But listen, this offense has crazy talent. You're going to be able to move the ball between the 20s, but it's really about what you do in the red zone. The Vikings were a great red zone team last year when it didn't matter. The Vikings were fantastic in the red zone when it did not matter last year. You look it up, they're probably top 10 in the league in red zone efficiency, but there's too many big-time moments where they seem to get away from themselves, and that's kind of the main point. You have a feeling for momentum. You can't really, seems like, put the boot on the throat, and that's a concern for me for next year, but it's more than that. We see with good teams, and we see it in the NBA, NHL, MLB, no matter what the sport is, when the bigger the game is, when the bigger the moment is, you got great players, they live up to it. They live up to the moment. They play to the moment. That's been kind of the concern with the Vikings. And listen, you can have all the talent in the world. You can have a stacked offense like they do. You can totally revamp the defense like they just did. You can have a great 53-man roster, but it doesn't matter unless you know how to stay to yourself in the biggest moments. It seems like when the moments get big, they do stuff that they don't normally do, or they try to be too much of themselves. For example, Saints game is a great example of this. You know the defense is going to give up 40. Like, you could tell that from the first quarter. You go watch that back. I could tell on that first drive when Kamara ran a 40-yard touchdown, it was going to be a long day. And the Vikings, in big-time moments, end of the half, they were throwing the ball around a lot against the Saints. They were getting easy plays. It was just very simple for them. And in the big-time third downs, 3rd and 1s, 3rd and 4s, they seem to get away from what has been working. They seem to, and it's not even with the play calling, it's with how they act. You could tell there's a body language there where you can feel the pressure they're feeling. When you watch Tom Brady and it's a big-time moment in the Super Bowl, you're like, yeah, he's got it. You're like, yeah, I'm not even going to look twice at that. It's whatever. But I'm scared that this is going to start being who the Vikings are. They're a team that really dominates poor opponents because they have a ton of talent. But when it comes to playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Seattle Seahawks, the Green Bay Packers, the teams they run the league, that's when they struggle. So my biggest concern for the Vikings is, listen, they don't really feel momentum well, and that kind of has to do with big-time games. And I think sometimes when they do have a good team on the ropes, they don't really know how to close it out. Obviously, I'm nitpicking here, but I think this could be a problem that could derail next season. Let me know what you guys think. I think it's mainly, though, that they don't play to themselves. They don't play to their strengths in big-time games. You look at Michael Jordan, Kevin Durant, they all up their points per game average from the regular season to the postseason. You look at Tom Brady, he's better in the postseason than the regular season. It seems like the Vikings in those big primetime games, they shrink. I'm hoping that changes next year, and I honestly think it will, because when you've been in the system the longest, those big-time moments, they just feel like moments. They don't feel as important. I think they're going to be fine next year. That is just my concern, is the big-time moments, and it's very cliche for me to say, but Kirk in big-time moments. It's not just him, it's Zimmer in big-time moments. It's Daniil in big-time moments. It's Harrison Smith, especially in big-time moments. Let me know what you guys think. My biggest concern for the Vikings is just how they play in big-time moments. Let me know what you guys think down below for a shout out in tomorrow's video. Like the video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel. See you guys next time. Skol Vikes.